households in this country that get garbage collected from outside their house, and you don't even worry about it. Okay? Sometimes you tend to throw it into the drain, but that's okay. Alright? Because there are 30% of houses will have to actually carry the baggage, garbage, and go and fetch some 100 or 150 meters to a dumpster. And the rest, you know where it goes. So if the Clyde River is polluted, you know where it's coming from. Okay, this is the context about inequality we're going to talk about, because yes, it's about income, it's about wealth, it's about everything else, but we just put up. So I just want to cover 3 points. As the two speakers have said, poverty and marginalization is a real reality here, and I just gave you the garbage example. Alright? But current policies and institutions for the last whatever years have not really addressed it. And we really need to think differently here. But just some context, 43 years ago, we had this wonderful document called the Rukun Negara, which very clearly spelled out that we wanted to achieve national unity and do a whole lot of things. This is the preamble. And you know what? Every time I put this preamble out, even school students don't know this. Although it's in the back of their exercise books. All they know is kepercayaan kepada Tuhan and all that, the fight. But they don't know that these were their aspirations. Okay? So I just want to give context to it. At the same time, you had two documents came together in 1970-71, and in which clearly said overriding goal is national unity, objective is to eradicate poverty irrespective of whatever, and to restructure society to reflect the economic function. And the premise has always been, whether from the MEP or now the new economic model, is always growth with equity. Okay? Growth with equity. Okay. But I think the story you have heard today is not the case. Okay, very quickly, because I know a lot of numbers have been told you, but very quickly I'd like to set the broad canvas. This is the population. Things have changed since 1970. This is 2013. Okay? 28.3 million people, roughly about 2.3 million non-citizens in the mix, which were not there before. Most of them are working for us. Alright? But an important number there is look at the total households. About 6.3 million households, and 71% are urban. This was exactly the reverse in 1970. 70% was rural and 30% was urban, now it has changed. And the median age, which is 50% of the population, is below 2. And then, talking about median income, is 6.3 million households, 50% of them have a monthly income of 2841. Alright, 50% of the 6.3 million households have an income of 2841. And you can see the wonderful mix we have here in terms of the almost 17% of the labor force are non-citizens. Many refugees and asylum seekers, we don't know the number, but it's roughly between 90 to 120,000. So it's a very nice, dynamic, diverse society. Whatever the numbers you have seen, really don't reflect the truth. Poverty is still very real to a lot of people. Income inequality, like Hokan said, it's been like that since 1990s. It's not going away. It is still high. Alright? And the current systems are not going to address it. Okay, this is the official poverty story base estimated at 3.8%. So basically, why worry? We only got 250,000 households that are poor out of the 6.3 million. We might as well give them bring every month and solve the problem. Okay? It is just about income poverty, but it's not. I will challenge any minister to survive on $6 a day in Peninsular Malaysia. Because that's what the PLI is about. The poverty line income is totally unrealistic. 763 for a household of 4 in Peninsular Malaysia to cater for 8 items here. including recreation. So if you can survive on $6 a day, that's wonderful. And therefore, if you do a simple calculation using an average PLI of 800, 3.8% government, but if you just increase it by 200 ringgit, the number jumps up to 7.4. And we think a realistic PLI, at least for the moment, is 2005. Then we are talking about 21% of households in this country struggling. Okay, so I think this is the picture there. Here, they talked about income inequality. This is a picture from 1990. Roughly, you have this proportion. 1.2 million top 20% households earning around 50% income share. The middle 40 or 34, and the bottom consistent. Okay, this is just income. Hokan and Mary talked about wealth. And if you were a grown-up, this is what they will be having their share. But even then, you just look at the top 10% and bottom 10% households, we are talking about the top 10% having about 33% of income, and the bottom 10%, about 600,000 households having about 3% of the income. This is very serious. So I think it's also a recipe for disaster if you don't want to do something about it. I don't want to talk about the current system, but in a way it's like that. Okay? It's everything up from the top to the down, and it filters away and it gets leaked somewhere. Okay? And there are all kinds of E and one Azam and one that and one this, so I'm confused. Okay. But basically, what has been the planning that's been going on in terms of the current system, the policy thrust has always been on economic development, not holistic. Alright? A lot of ethnic-based prescriptions. Imbalance. Recently, 2 days ago, Dr. Jayakumar, who is the MP for Sungai Siput, lost his appeal case to get development funds. Very clearly, if you're not a government MP, you don't get funds to help your own constituents. Alright? So this is the kind of thing that happens all the time. And certainly, in all our policy planning, whatever plan, we do not include the non-citizens, whether they are workers or they are illegals or they are asylum seekers. And it's always one shirt fits all. Here you go, I give you this wonderful goodie bag and go and get it done. And we all know problems are customized to locality. Individual families have different sets of problems when it comes to poverty and marginalization. Alright? And there are lots and lots. I won't even talk about, look, hey, I was an ex-civil servant, so I know how the system works, alright? There are thousands of agencies involved in poverty eradication. But when you ask them to produce what is the actual outcome in terms of effectiveness, it's difficult. Everybody will give you numbers, you can't find out how to do that. Okay? And data. All of us dealing with 2009 data. 3 years ago. This is rubbish. Today, if I want to know what is the situation of poverty in the United States, I just go on the web, I will get it by district. We need that kind of information to have a proper response. Alright? And don't talk about Parliament. Parliament is not even involved in monitoring anything. Okay, basically, the summary is 40 years of growth with equity has failed us. Okay? And just do a very quick snapshot of the bottom 40%. We talk of the bottom 40% as if they are all the income countries down there and they are not connected to us. Hey, come on, we are all Malaysians now. Whatever happens down there is going to affect us. You don't think so? You live in suburbs where people are also from the bottom 40%. Whether it's Subang Jaya or Bangsa or Art Market, Bukit Damansara. And when the crime rate goes up, what do? Gated communities, employ security guards. One of these days, the same security guard, it comes from the bottom 40%, is going to rob your house. I guarantee you that. So let's not talk about ad hoc solutions to deep problems that people causes. Okay, this is your bottom 40%. You just look at the education status. Those in the workforce on the bottom 40%, 52% have no formal education, no certificate. UPSR 4%, PMR 80%, SPM 25%, and I don't even want to go into the quality of these qualifications. Because if you know the latest evaluation done for the kids, all our children are at least 3 years behind their peers in the test. Okay, so that's how bad we are. Okay, these are real pictures. I do research on the ground, so I know these are real pictures. This is what it is. Basically, when Mary talked about inequality or homeland, we are talking about it's multi-dimensional. It's just not education, it's not unemployment, it's nutrition, it's health, it's a whole host of things. Alright? But this is the people who don't have somebody coming to collect rubbish for them. Alright? So, understanding this, you will also be not so judgmental when you start saying, oh, these people, they're all drug addicts, useless, they want to be poor. I think we need to be a bit more sympathetic when we talk about these issues. With every issue here, you will find in the bottom 40% households. Right now, I'm doing a study in Glen. Just 500 households are already found 60% involved in some kind of substance abuse. 60% of the families have some child involved in some kind of. This is a serious problem. And I don't want to talk about the drug barons who bring their pushers and their peddlers to these places and make tons of money out of those people. Okay? Okay, basically I think we all know that we really got to break this cycle. But depending on the current system, it's not going to work. Simply because all of us here, including me, we are all trapped in this politics of identity. When you ask somebody who was first question, Malaysia, Chinese, Indian, why? Why nobody asks human being or not? Come on, let's be serious. This is 21st century Malaysia and we are still talking the old story. What does it matter? If his boy is marginalized, he needs help, we help. We do the right things. Okay? So this is our proposal. Saya Anak Bangsa Malaysia and Akam has come out. We have actually drafted the legislation. It's on our website, you can go and check it out. It's called the Social Inclusion Act, and it basically tries to address this issue about poverty and marginalization. Alright? There are some key components there. We understand that disadvantages are multidimensional, intergenerational, meaning the father is poor now, chances are pretty good the child will become a poor parent himself and produce poor children. This cycle cannot be broken by handouts, by one church fits all programs. It won't happen. Alright, we really need to address this. And basically our policy thrust in these three areas are: first, looking at the poor, empowering the poor and low income households. Second, caring with dignity for any society will have people who cannot live and work independently. This is our job to take care of them. They are disabled, some form of disability. We have to have them. We have to set aside. And last but not least, we have to think about protecting and advocating the rights of those who come and work for us and get bashed up in police stations, in lockouts. Nobody knows about it because we are quite happily living in our comfort zones. Alright? We have to start speaking up for them. The key components of this social inclusion is the first, setting up of an independent commission. And truly independent commission, I will give you the details of it later. We have to involve our MPs and adults in this process of trying to solve this problem. We cannot keep them out of the loop just to go to the parliament and talk about pipe bocho. Okay, we've got to get them to do some serious work on the ground. And we need to have very specialized expertise or social intervention units in special localities to help people. We need very qualified people to do this, whether they are psychologists, counselors, what have you. We've got to get in there. Because every poor household or marginalized household is unique. They are just not a number. Of course, I'm not going to call Mandela to come to head this commission, but that's the type of integrity. I can't believe with 16 million adult members in this country, we can't get 7 honest men and women to do this job. Something is wrong in this country, you know.